Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And this is the continuation of this series called Personal Stories and Practical Lessons to Learn and or Apply, Part 32. And I hope that you will share some of your own stories in the comments below. I haven't seen any yet, so I hope that you will. So why am I showing you this very big metal spoon? It actually says on the spoon, "I'll take seconds," meaning for serving. So this spoon actually was given to me for some work I was doing at some stores for doing demos, but I never used it for that. But it's a nice spoon. I don't think it's silver, but it's quite heavy. And I kept it in my bag when I go for a walk at the park, which is Balboa Park in San Diego, because I used to bury compost and I used it for other things. So I just kept it in there. So it turned out to be a very important spoon for me to have because of what happened. So this happened back, and I call this being kind to all of Hashem's creatures, burying a squirrel at Balboa Park. And this happened on June 21 of 24. I don't know the Hebrew day. It was on a Sunday. Yom Rishon, in Hebrew we would say the first day of the week. So I always like to go for a walk, and I've been doing it for years, and got to kind of connect more with the squirrels, and I feed them and talk to them in Hebrew, and a lot of them know me. Sometimes they're not so friendly. Sometimes they freak out. It just depends. I guess it's the ones that maybe know me. I don't know who they are. There's so many. I can't recognize them unless there's some very distinct mark on them, or something happened to one of them that I recognize them from the time before, but otherwise I don't really. But most of the time they are, fairly friendly with me because I've been going for years and giving them different kinds of food and scraps and food scraps and other kinds of cereals and stuff. So I was on my walk back from the direction I go back to where I'm living, and on the walkway I noticed a squirrel that was just lying there. Never seen that before, so kind of wasn't sure what was going on. So I actually, funny thing is, I have a number for this woman who's a wildlife expert from a site. I think it was Nextdoor, and I saved it, and I had it saved there, so I was able to look her up. Her name is Shawna. So thank you, Shawna, for being there. So I called her, and she said, what she said to do was to determine if it was alive or not. She said to poke it with something, to see if it's moving or not, and it wasn't, so it was already stiff, and I was really sad. I was kind of in hysterics. It sounds crazy. Like, why would you do that for a squirrel? What does it matter? It's still Hashem's creature. It still mattered to me. Maybe to other people it doesn't. And just thinking about it, I kind of feel a little sad. But anyway, I knew I couldn't leave it there. I felt really bad. I hung up with her on the phone, and I said, I can't leave it here. It must have just happened because nothing was around it. Normally when, I know this is the cycle of life, we all are going to go through it, but there was nothing by it, that, like the animals come. Once they see something that's not alive, they come and they take their part of it. But nothing was around it, so it must have just happened, and nobody else was there when it happened. And I said, I cannot leave this squirrel here. And I did share a story in the past about a bird that I once buried, so it was the same issue. This was actually on the property where I was living. But I knew I couldn't leave it there. I just would not have felt good about it. So that's where this big silver spoon came in. It's not real. I don't think it's real silver. I don't see any markings on it, and I know about markings. But anyway, that's where that came in, because I wanted to bury it. So having the spoon was very crucial, because I not only used it for digging the hole, which I'll tell you about in a minute, but also for picking up the squirrel. Because the squirrel's not big. It fit into the, I mean, I don't think it was exactly this small, but it fit. I was able to pick it up with the spoon. So I wanted to, my plan was that I wanted to bury it under a tree. And I went to the tree that I wanted to do it and some other trees, and the earth was very hard, so I couldn't even dig it with the spoon, so that wouldn't work. So I found another place that it seemed to be softer. Maybe the squirrels had already been digging there, so I decided to put it there. So I dug the hole, and I was still kind of sad and everything, and then I dug the hole. I picked it up with the spoon, and I was still crying, but I was feeling really good about doing this, and then after I was able to cover it and and then I would know where it is, because I don't know if I put a rock there, put something that I could remember, so that whenever I would pass by there, because it was something I would regularly walk by there, not every day, but usually maybe a day or 1 or 2 days a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. So I know where it is. But over time, and this is already going back over, like a year when this is going to be posted, it'll be, I don't know how well when this video is posted, because I record my videos way in advance. But I didn't record this when it actually happened. But it's probably going to be more than a year, or more than a year and a half or more. So that this happened. But then over time, like the tree, like the pine needles came down, like certain things happened, so I wasn't able to. I kind of have a general idea where it is, because it was closer to the sidewalk, to the concrete, where I buried it. But I did bury it over completely, so I don't think anyone could get to it. But now, of course, it's no longer a squirrel. But yeah, I feel really good about it. And then I contacted Shawna. I actually sent her some text messages and told her what I did, and she says, "Oh, that was really nice that you did she says, "It's so nice of you to take care of the little fella." That's what she said, which was sweet. So yeah, it was just, for me, it was a no-brainer. I guess I have an affinity for them now. I've been feeding them for a few years, and connecting to them, and you learn a lot when you're around animals that are in nature, wild animals. And so that was important. And then I think another time I might have seen one. I never saw them very often, like to just see like an animal dead there. But I guess if it was a bigger animal, I wouldn't be able to bury it. But again, having this spoon came in very handy. So little did I know that I'd be burying a squirrel at the park. And nobody was around when I did it. I think someone walked by, but I think it was after the fact or something. I don't remember, but nobody was really around. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. I mean, if you're an animal lover, I mean, I can't say, like, for me, as far as animal lover, I like seeing animals in nature and and observing them, but it's not like I would myself have a pet. Yes, if it came to a point where there was like the need for, like, let's see, rehabbing a squirrel, and I learned what to do, I probably would want to do it, because I already have kind of an affinity for them. But I wouldn't like take on an animal or like get a pet. It's just not something I'm looking to spend money on or have to deal with. And I'm not negating anyone else who likes pets. That's fine. And if you have any pet stories you want to share, and again, when a person has an animal, when you feel a closeness to an animal, it does affect you. People shouldn't negate that people have feelings for animals. Just because they're not like a human being doesn't mean they don't have feelings too. They do. So anyway, I just want to share that. And actually, squirrels are very intelligent. A lot of people don't know. So you could always look up online about squirrels and learn what they're all about. They're actually very intelligent. Okay, so that is the story for today. And I'm glad I got to share it. And I hope you will also share any of your own stories. And I hope and pray that we will all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days, and the building of our final everlasting base. Amen and thanks for watching.